must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining us. Good morning, good evening, depending on where you're tuned in. Today, the 26th of May, 2021. My name is Miriam Gutu. The show is Diaspora Dispatches, and on this show, I get to bring you the latest news from the continent of Africa. And so, a very warm welcome to you, and we shall start with Uganda. A Ugandan military court has released on bail 17 people detained 5 months ago while campaigning for presidential candidate Bobi Wine. The National Unity Platform party members were arrested in December 2020 in the island district of Kalangana a month before the election. They included members of Bobi Wine's media, security and protocol teams. They are among 49 people arrested and subsequently charged with illegal possession of 4 rounds of ammunition. This was their third bail application. They were declined before on the grounds that they were potentially dangerous people capable of inciting violence. The chairperson of the court, Andrew Guti, barred them from traveling outside the capital, Kampala, and Wakiso, a district that encircles it. Each are subject to a non-cash bond of 20 million Uganda shillings, that is an equivalent of $5,600, while those who stood as their sureties to a non-cash bond of 50 million Uganda shillings to be paid should they abscond. They are also required to report to the court twice a month. And then we head over to South Africa, and South Africa's former president Jacob Zuma has pleaded not guilty to corruption charges at the start of his trial in a court in Pietermaritzburg. Looking frail and speaking quietly, the 79-year-old pleaded not guilty to all 18 counts of racketeering, corruption, fraud, tax evasion and money laundering. The charges relate to events more than 2 decades ago in the early days of South Africa's democracy and to a huge and deeply controversial arms deal. Mr. Zuma and his allies insist the case is political. Indeed, the former president insists he's the victim of a far wider conspiracy involving his enemies in the governing African National Congress and far beyond. Crowds had gathered outside the courthouse, and Mr. Zuma still enjoys some popular support, but there is now overwhelming evidence of the corruption that flourished during his decade in power, and many South Africans are simply keen to see justice being done. And then we go to Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwean man has filed an urgent court application seeking to have the country's Chief Justice jailed for allegedly defying a court order. The High Court recently ordered a Chief Justice, Luke Malaba, to step down, ruling that President Emmerson Mnangagwa's decision to extend his tenure by 5 years was illegal and unconstitutional as the judge was 70 years old. A recent constitutional amendment passed by Parliament raised the retirement age of senior judges from 70 to 75. But the High Court ruled any constitutional amendment needed to be put to a referendum. Mr. Malaba returned to work this week, according to a state-run newspaper, after the Justice Minister and Attorney General appealed the ruling. The Zimbabwean Human Rights NGO Forum Executive Director Musa Kika filed his urgent application on Tuesday. He argues that the appeal does not suspend the lower court's ruling. He wants Mr. Malaba jailed for 6 months, but says the sentence should be suspended if he ceases to work. And then we go to Somalia, and the Somali government has said that federal and regional leaders have made progress in election talks that are set to sign an agreement on Thursday. Government spokesperson Mohamed Moalimu said the outcome of the meeting was being finalized for the signing ceremony. The 4-day talks were chaired by Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Roble. The leaders have been meeting in the capital Mogadishu to resolve a protracted dispute over the electoral process which led to violence last month. Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed, better known as by his nickname President Farmajo, the president's term of office ended on 8th February, but Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed Farmajo remains in office because of a parliamentary resolution passed last year. Very well, and then we go to Nigeria, and at least 4 police officers have been killed in the latest attacks on police stations in Nigeria southeast after gunmen struck in Enugu State. In neighboring Ebonyi State, a police officer died after a hand grenade strapped on his belt accidentally detonated. So far, around 20 police officers have been killed in recent weeks in a wave of violence sweeping across the southeastern region. Gunmen have been attacking security forces and government facilities. On Tuesday alone, attacks were reported across 3 states. The police authorities told the BBC that an armed gun burnt down a police station in Enugu State. A deadly shootout was also reported between the police and gunmen in Imo State. The attackers were said to have attempted to attack a police station there. No group has said it was behind the attacks, but the IPOB, a group demanding an independent state, has been active in the area. That is according to police reports there. Now, last month, state governors in the region announced the setting up of a joint security force to coordinate security activities in the area. And then some news related to Nigeria, but this time Biafra, and the Nigerian government has launched Operation Restore Peace, designed to destroy the indigenous people of Biafra, a group in support of independence for the former breakaway Republic of Biafra and its security wing, the Eastern Security Network. According to Acting Inspector General of Police Osman Baba, the security services are not to be constrained by human rights considerations. Other reporting alleges that the security services are conducting house-to-house searches in Ebonyi, Imo, and Rivers states, all with large Igbo populations. Local people are saying that the security services are rounding up young men and their family members and taking them away for questioning. IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu has dubbed the police initiative Operation Massacre Biafrans, and we shall talk about that just very shortly. And then we head on over to Ethiopia, and a senior United Nations official warned the Security Council on Tuesday that urgent measures are needed to avoid famine in the war-torn region of Tigray in Ethiopia, in a briefing seen by AFP News. This is a serious risk. There is a serious risk of famine if assistance is not scaled up in the next 2 months, and that is according to Mark Lowcock, the United Nations Under Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator. More than 6 months after Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed launched what he termed a rapid military operation, the fighting and abuses continue in Tigray, where the spectre of famine has been hovering over for several months now. The United Nations official estimated that over 90% of the harvest was lost due to looting, burning, or other destruction, and more than 80% of the livestock in the region were looted or slaughtered. And then we go to Sudan, and a civilian member of the Sudan's ruling Sovereign Council has resigned, citing interference from military officials in the transitional government. Aisha Musa Said accused military leaders of sidelining civilians and making unilateral decisions affecting the entire country, including the recent use of force against peaceful protesters. Said told reporters at a weekend media briefing in Khartoum she tendered her resignation because the military component of the Sovereign Council ignores the views of other council members. Said is the third high-ranking civilian in Sudan to leave their post in a week. Last week, Sudanese Attorney General Taj al-Sir al-Hibir resigned, citing interference from unauthorized government agencies in the Public Prosecutor's Office when he called a clear violation of the law. Also, Chief Justice Neimat Abdallah Mohamed Kaya, the country's first female Chief Justice, was removed from her post last week by the Sovereign Council without explanation. Kaya's removal and al-Hibir's resignation came days after Sudanese security forces shot and killed peaceful protesters, marking the second anniversary of the beginning of the Sudanese revolution in Khartoum. The Sovereign Council was established as Sudan's ruling body after the ouster of long-term President Omar al-Bashir in 2019. Said was appointed to the 14-member council as one of the 2 female members that October. Head over to Mali, and the latest from Mali is that Mali's strongman on Tuesday pushed out leaders tasked with steering the return to civilian rule following a coup, as former colonial power France warned it could lead a charge to impose sanctions against the regime. Colonel Assimi Goita, who headed a junta that seized power less than 10 months ago, said that transitional President Bando and Prime Minister Mokhtar One had been stripped of their powers, and he promised elections in 2022. The announcement marks the latest crisis to hit the West African country, burdened by poverty and struggling with a militant insurgency. Ndo and One had been heading an interim government that was stalled in September under a threat of regional sanctions, with a declared aim of restoring full civilian rule within 18 months. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, on Tuesday dispatched former Nigerian leader Goodluck Jonathan to Bamako as it scrambled to respond to the latest crisis in the Sahel country. And then we go back to Sudan, and talks between the transitional government of Sudan and the armed opposition SPLM North, led by Abdelaziz Amma Al-Hilu, have resumed in Juba today. The two sides signed a declaration of principles 2 months ago. The transitional government of Sudan agreed to separate religion from the state. This was one of the conditions put forth by SPLM North Al-Hilu for it to engage in talks. On Tuesday, the Sudanese Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok and the government delegation arrived in Juba. This morning, the head of the Sudanese Sovereign Council, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, also arrived in Juba to negotiate with SPLM North and Abdelaziz Al-Hilu. The two parties will begin negotiations on a power-sharing formula, democracy, a federal system of governance in Sudan, among others. During the declaration of principles, the Sudanese government and the SPLM North of Al-Hilu agreed to establish a civilian, democratic, federal state with the freedom of religion for all Sudanese. President Salva Kiir initiated the Sudanese peace talks in July 2019. And then we go to Burundi, and at least 2 people were killed in Bujumbura following a grenade explosion in one of the city's busiest spots on Tuesday evening. The government termed the incident a terrorism attack and said that investigations have been launched. And then we head over to I think we are through. That is the end of our news this afternoon. But I'd like for us to have a bit of a conversation over what now is happening there. I don't know. Every time I come here with the news, there's always something happening in Nigeria. And of course, the latest there from Mali that is really, really worrying. And now the Mali's, leader that led the ousting of President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta has gone to be back to being in charge of that country, as he said to have fired the president and the prime minister, and I don't know who else is going to fire there. It's another mess coming from West Africa, and ECOWAS has sent the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, to try to lead some mediation there and try to just salvage the situation, because if Mali goes off right now, and Chad also is on a verge of, I don't know, God knows what, and another country, I think it's a mess in the West African state, and ECOWAS leadership has to come up very quickly and try to find solutions to what is happening in Mali. So before we get fully into that conversation, there are attacks that happened in a police station in Nigeria, in Ebonyi State, and there has been attacks, targeting police stations and all that. And so right now, I think it's the insecurity continues. If it's not, police being attacked, then it's the people being killed, then it's Boko Haram causing mayhem. Nigeria. And on top of that, right now, the government of Nigeria has launched Operation Restore Peace. Do you know about it? What is this operation all about? Are you aware? What are the contents? What does it want to achieve there in Nigeria? In case you don't know, let me tell you what the General Inspector of Police said. So this operation is designed to destroy the indigenous people of Biafra, and they're saying this, of course, the Biafrans IPOB has been in support of independence for the former breakaway Republic of Biafra and its security wing, the Eastern Security Network. According to Acting Inspector General of Police Osman Baba, the security services are not to be constrained by human rights considerations. So they're saying, while we are launching this Operation Restore Peace, forget that it has even the name peace in it. What we're going to do, we're just going to go after the IPOB, family, and we're going to meet them by, the force that we can possibly, go with over there. So other reporting also alleges that security services are conducting house-to-house searches, and you can confirm this. I know you're watching, and I see a lot of Biafrans are here, and so perhaps you know better and you have better information. So can you please tell me if this is true? Because there are reports that are alleging that security forces in Nigeria are going house-to-house searches, are doing house-to-house searches in Ebonyi, Imo, and River states, and all with large Igbo populations. So they are targeting certain states and certain communities and certain villages. So if this is true, could you please confirm with me if this information is true? I don't want to be sitting here and spreading some, information that is not true, but let me know if this is true. And of course, the local people are saying that security services are rounding up young men, the people from the Igbo population, the people from Biafra. They're saying that the security services forces, they are rounding up young men and their family members and taking them away for questioning. And of course, IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu has dubbed the police initiative Operation Massacre Biafrans. And of course, the Nigerian government is calling that Operation Restore Peace. And Nnamdi Kanu is saying this is Operation Massacre Biafrans. Now, in comments reported in the Nigerian media, this is what the acting inspector of police, Usman Baba, is said to have is quoted to have said, "Don't mind the media. Shout. Do the job I command you to do." So he was telling the security forces this: if anyone accuses you of human rights violations, the report will come to my table, and you know what I will do. So take the battle to them, wherever they are, and kill them, or don't wait for an order. That is what he was telling the security forces. When you go to where Biafrans are, you go after them. Go with any, every force possible. Don't worry about human, rights abuses. Don't worry what the media will portray. Don't worry what, these human rights groups will say. Just go after them. And if they complain, those reports will get back to my table. What level of impunity is this? If you're going, and this operation has been dubbed very well, Operation Restore Peace, I would think dialogue would be the first weapon that you would use. Bring people together, hear, each other out, hear what, these people are saying, and then engage in other ways, because you have called this operation Restore Peace. And that is not how you restore peace, by going, after you people like that, I think. And so he's saying, so take the battle to them, wherever they are, and kill them, and don't wait for an order. And what another order are you waiting for when Mr. President has ordered you to shoot anybody carrying AK-47 rifle? All right. He's saying, quote me, even a dead policeman can be tried and dismissed from the force, and his family will not get his benefits. So don't sit and wait for them to come. Take attack to them, and don't lose your arms to criminals. Okay, that is really harsh. That is really, really, really harsh. So if Biafrans, if you're out there, and I don't know how let me just read some of your comments, because I see you're writing me, and you have you have a choice of words, and in response to what this Inspector General of Police is saying. And Steve Godfrey Ikeme, thank you so much for watching. I don't know where you're watching me from this afternoon. Could you just tell us where you're watching us from? Because I know our viewers, you're spread across the globe, and it's nice to know where you're tuned in this afternoon. It is afternoon here in Nairobi, about what time is it? 25 minutes past 3 p.m. here in Nairobi. So Steve Godfrey came, you're saying it is true. They're going house to house. They even kill ladies on their sleep. All right, now that's scary. That's scary. Atuzieuge Chichi, you're saying we're not safe. Our land is under occupation. We don't know who is military. We don't know who is Boko Haram. Nigerian government have recruited them in the military. Okay, Collins, Obina, Nigeria police is terrorists in uniform. So I see some of you are confirming this report. And Stephen, you're saying you're watching from Dakar, Senegal, and it's 12:24 there. All right, thank you so much for watching. And Chukwe Medum, you're saying you're watching from Malaysia. Thank you as well. So, and Michael Chooks, you're saying you're watching from Liberia. I told you, you're spread across the world, and we appreciate your time this afternoon here in Nairobi. And thank you so much for watching. So this order that has been given by Acting Inspector General of Police Usman Baba, and under this operation that they have dubbed Operation Restore Peace. When I just saw the title of that, I thought, okay, so this is a good idea, Operation Restore Peace. So maybe the government will try to reach out, to the IPOB and other groups that have been agitating, to leave, a larger Nigeria, or that are agitating over certain issues that they want the government to, to respond to. So I thought Operation Restore Peace, this could be a good initiative to reach out and just try to bring everybody together. And then just reading through these comments by the Acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, he's saying, no, we're not coming in peace. It's not that kind of peace, we are bringing to you. And of course, Nnamdi Kanu has dubbed this operation as Operation Massacre Biafrans. And I think when you look at what the Acting Inspector General of Police there said, well, I think there's going to be a lot of massacre happening out there in those areas because this operation is targeting Ebonyi, it is targeting Imo, and it is targeting River States. So watch out if you're in this, if you live in these areas, because these areas has huge, large Igbo populations, I think. And so this Acting Inspector General of Police said that don't worry about what media will portray. Don't worry. Don't worry. I wish they would go after Boko Haram with the same enthusiasm. I wish the government of Nigeria would go after the bandits with the same, vigor, with the same determination, to crush the kidnappers. I wish the government would employ the same force, would employ the same attitude, because they are the real perpetrators, of security or insecurity in Nigeria. So he's saying, don't mind what the media will say. They will report whatever they want to report. That is their problem. Do the job I command you to do. So this was a direct, directive from the police. And as I was reading through that statement, you would think he sounded as if he had the blessings of President Muhammadu Buhari, from how he was talking, the confidence he was exuding, and the command he had. He sounded like he had the blessings of the head of state. So I don't know if President Buhari, this is your position, and if not, could you come out and clear that for the people of Nigeria? Because if the police in Nigeria have declared a war, again, it's people there, then we have a problem, right? And so as I said there, the report that say that security forces are conducting house-to-house searches in Ebonyi, in Imo, and in River States, and local people in these areas are saying that security services are rounding up young men and their family members and taking them away for questioning. Is this true? And I think I asked that question, and a lot of you are confirming that this is actually true, what is happening there. And do you know anybody that has been rounded up? Do you know anybody that has had this experience? Have they started actually going after residents in these areas? Please let me know. Let me know. And as you do that, I said earlier, just let me know where you're watching us from this afternoon. So, this is what also he continued to say, that do the job I command you to do. If anyone accuses you of human rights violations, the report will come to my table and you will know what I will do. So I don't know what he means by this. And the audacity and the level of impunity that he speaks about. No wonder even a group, that police that was killing Nigerians, I can't remember, SARS, right? Yeah, and when you guys held the protest of End SARS, this is a police that was operating, maiming people, killing people, going after innocent Nigerians. And it existed for a while, and it committed these atrocities, and it was able to get away with it for a very long time. But now, reading from this attitude that I see Acting Inspector General of Police exhibiting here, I'm really not surprised that SARS was able to do what it did in Nigeria, was able to terrorize people like it did in Nigeria, until Nigerians said, you know what, enough is enough, #EndSARS right now, and that police unit was disbanded. But the same people also, they were given other assignments under still in the police service there in Nigeria. I believe so. They were not disbanded and fired. The police unit was disbanded, but they were given other positions. They're still serving in the force there, police force in Nigeria. So he's saying, don't worry what the world will say. And if anybody comes to you with human rights violations, you just do your job. I command you to just go there and go after the IPOB community. And of course, if they come reporting, these reports will come to my table. And you know what I will do? This level of recklessness, this level of lack of the government of Nigeria to place premium on human lives is what is really worrying, I think, there. And so he continues to say, don't mind them, so take the battle to them wherever they are and kill them all. Don't wait for an order. And then what another order are you waiting for? That is what he was asking when Mr. President had ordered you to shoot anybody carrying AK-47. So this is what President Muhammadu Buhari, according to this person, he's saying this was the order from the top office, that is President Muhammadu Buhari. I wish he could come out and clear out, because these are very damning accusations. But if his Inspector General of Police is saying this, so maybe we take his word for it, because I don't think he will throw in the name of the president in such a very grave statement if the president didn't say it. So he's saying, what other order are you waiting for? If Mr. President himself had ordered you to shoot anybody carrying AK-47, but that will be the bandits. That will be the herders who have continued to kill and maim other people in Nigeria from other parts of the country. Why are you not going after them? Why have we not heard of any bandits being killed? Why have we not heard of certain people coming from parts of Nigeria not being attacked? And yet the president says anybody who carries a AK-47 rifle should be killed. Are these killings just targeted Inspector General of Police, Acting Inspector General of Police? And he's saying, if anybody asks you, just quote me, even a dead policeman can be tried and dismissed from the force, and his family will not get his benefits. So don't sit and wait for them to come. Don't sit and wait for the Biafrans to come. Take attack to them and don't lose your arms to criminals. Okay, so the government of Nigeria has declared war, clearly. And so I don't know. All right, so John Corte, you're asking, where is African Union? Yesterday we were celebrating. I think Dr. Matanga had a show in the evening. I'm sure a lot of you joined when he was looking at African Union. And African Union was formed in 1963. Initially, it was the Organization of African Unity, and then that charter was changed in 2002 to what we have now, the African Union. Yes, and you're asking, where is African Union when things like this are happening, when a government is able to make such reckless comments, when a government is able to declare war against its own people? You're asking, where is African Union? All right. I would have asked, where is ECOWAS? But ECOWAS seems to be grappling with so much right now in the West African states. I don't know if the... All right. Very well. Okay, so let me read a bit of your comments here as you continue, and also that attack that happened in a police station there in Enugu State. Do you know anything about it? Do you know what is happening there? Do you know who carried out these attacks? It's not very clear because no group has come out to claim to be responsible of the attack that happened at a police station in Enugu State. If you know, let me know. Eze Nesta, you're saying you're watching from Onitsa. All right, I will not say that word you said there. but you're saying that person gives such orders. You're referring to the acting inspector general of police, Usman Baba. You're saying he gives orders in the north where Boko Haram, ISWAP, and Fulani foot soldiers have been carrying AK-47 and killing indigenous citizens since 2015. And Stanley Pablo is saying Nigeria can never work together. Rather, it will continue the killing of innocent citizens. AU, UN, EU, and Nigeria, and save lives. Elbede Idede, you're saying the Nigerian states want to exterminate Biafrans. Well, from what I'm reading from these statements from the acting inspector general of police, Usman Baba, obviously, the government is really has a plan, and the plan is under the Operation Restore Peace, and it's not really restoring peace. They're saying we are coming after anybody who is calling for independence, anybody who wants to separate, from Nigeria, anybody that is posing a security challenge to this country. But unfortunately, they don't go to the people who are an actual security threat to Nigeria. I wonder if the government of Nigeria would employ the same kind of strength, the same kind of might, the same kind of commitment towards fighting Boko Haram. Maybe Boko Haram will be an issue of the past. Maybe Boko Haram will not now be in other countries across the Sahel region. Maybe Boko Haram will not be abducting kids while in school and students in the universities and children playing outside. Maybe that will not be happening if at all it was committed. As we see now, it is committed to coming after the IPOB. If this kind of commitment was employed towards addressing the larger insecurity in Nigeria that I talk about here every day, that we address here every day, that Punchline Africa highlights here every day, then perhaps Nigeria will be a better place for its over 2 million residents, right? But that has not been the case. And President Buhari has been quite aloof and has been quite out of touch with the things that he's supposed to be doing when it comes to addressing the insecurity in Nigeria. But now they're saying our real problem here, this community of indigenous people of Biafra, and they're saying that, acting inspector general is saying we are going after, the IPOB community, and they're saying that don't mind what anybody else will say, don't mind what the media will report, don't mind any human rights violations. We are coming, we are coming after you. And if they ask you, tell them, quote me, I said that, all right? I said that. And then when he brought in the name of President Buhari, I said, okay, so maybe he does have the blessings of President Muhammadu Buhari to carry out such a brazen, response of, might towards the people of Biafrans and these other areas in Ebonyi, Imo, and River State, that we've seen there happen. And these allegations of people being pulled out of their homes in these states, in Ebonyi, in Imo, in River State. I've asked if this is true, and I think a lot of you are confirming to me this afternoon that actually this is what is happening there. And if this is what is happening there, does a regional bloc like ECOWAS even know this is what is happening there? And if so, what are they doing really to try to address this issue? And it's interesting, this ECOWAS, how it operates over there. Right now, there's a crisis in Mali, and they've sent Nigeria's former president, Goodluck Jonathan. He was the one who was mediating, even when that coup happened sometimes back last year when they removed Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, I remember. And they sent him. And when we saw what happened, I think in Chad, they also send a mediation team there. It's like they choose how to deal with certain issues in ECOWAS and in certain countries in ECOWAS. I don't know if the other countries that are more are I don't know. I don't know how they rate this matter is more important. So let's pay attention to it. And this other one, let's just leave that alone, because I've not heard ECOWAS discussing anything to do with the human rights violations that go in Nigeria. I've not seen ECOWAS trying to even actively engage in addressing the issue of insecurity in Nigeria as a whole. I've not seen them try to bring President Buhari to account and say, hey, what is happening in Nigeria? Because whatever is happening in Nigeria is not only affecting Nigeria by itself, it has also spread in the Sahel region like wildfire. And now we see the insecurity has intensified. And the mother of this all is in Nigeria, that is in Boko Haram, where Boko Haram was born, and is thriving very well under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari. So now he decides that is not even an urgent issue right now. Let's just form this Operation Restore Peace, and with no intention of restoring peace, with no intention of engaging these communities that they feel have issues with the government. That is not how you find peace. You find peace by engaging. Waging a war has never brought peace anywhere. The people you're supposed to be waging a war against are somewhere up there in the north, who have taken over states, who are running a child's play in certain states. You can't even drive over in certain highways, I hear, in northern Nigeria. Now, those are the guys that you're supposed to be going after with all this might, President Buhari. So maybe you need to recheck your priorities. And then for the IPOB, I think an engagement will be more productive. Have talks. What are these issues that are being raised, by the IPOB and other groups? What is it that they are? What are their claims? What are some of the issues? Are they legitimate? Can we engage? Can we talk? How can we find solutions? That is how, you restore peace in a country, but you don't declare war in your own people, a war that has been there for quite a while now. And the more might, the more power you use, only innocent lives get lost. Only more harm, is happening there, and no solution is gotten. So perhaps it is time, President Buhari, you employed a different strategy in trying to address these issues. And maybe it is time that you actually listened to what these groups are saying, and maybe just maybe, and not that kind of a dialogue that President Paul Biya tried to have. Was it in 2019? That a mirage of a national dialogue when he was, he wanted to engage with the what do you call them, the southern part, the Anglophone part of Cameroon. You remember those talks that really were not talks, and he called them national reconciliation talks, and yet the leaders of Ambazonia, yes, the Anglophones, their leaders already were in jail. They're serving a life sentence, and you did not bother to bring them on the table so that you could discuss and find a lasting solution to a peaceful, Cameroon. That is what happened in Cameroon over 2 years ago. And since those, that scam of a national dialogue, nothing really has come out of it. And so I was just reading a report a few hours ago about the Prime Minister, his name I think is John Gute, he went to the Anglophone region, and he's trying to, woo people into coming to rebuild the Anglophone region, that the government has been banning their hospitals, the government has been banning their schools. Things are not working in that part, and you want to bring people and invest word, and then you'll be the ones helping in destroying these investments. I don't think anybody in their right mind will come and invest in such a place with high insecurity. So Paul Biya also has refused to engage the Anglophones in finding a solution and addressing some of the issues that are quite legitimate, that these people are asking the government to address and are trying to get a solution. So when people try to tell you, agitate, and you don't want to listen. Yeah, you just want to use force and force. I don't know what you expect the results of that will be, but if now you're launching Operation Restore Peace, and you don't come in peace, you're taking war to them, and you're saying maim anybody you find your way, kill anybody that looks like this or whatever. You're not helping. a human being's life, there has to be a premium attached to it. And you can't just talk. This is a whole inspector of police, very reckless, talking with a lot of impunity because he has governments barking. This is unacceptable. Let me just read a few of your comments because my time is almost up, and then I shall be calling it a day, as so many of you are writing to me this afternoon. And as you do that, I mentioned there earlier, it's always a pleasure to know where you're watching us from. And Godfrey Okeke, thank you so much. Ofadile, First Stone, Emma Young, thank you, Zion, Zion man, Isaac, Sunny Odochuku, you say Nigeria is a disaster waiting to happen. I think when it comes to the insecurity in general, it's not waiting to happen, it's already happening. So I think President Buhari just needs to is playing a catch-up as it is right now, because it's like he's been sleeping all this time, and all of a sudden he wakes up from a slumber and it's like, what? Because that is what he said last year. I thought, I had fought Boko Haram. I thought, okay, when did the government do that really? So he woke up. Last year I was reading some news, what Buhari said, and he said, I thought I had defeated Boko Haram. And so he's been in this slumber. So he's just woken up and realized, hey, something is happening in Nigeria and I need to act. So President Buhari right now is just essentially playing catch up with insecurity and and what is happening there in Nigeria, and the issues that are being raised, even not just by the IPOB or these other groups, but also with the majority of Nigerians who want him to address certain issues that are of importance to them, that President Buhari has been accused, even with the former leadership there in Nigeria. We saw Olusegun Obasanjo has no very kind words for Buhari, and he wrote a very scathing letter last year saying that under President Buhari, Nigeria is turning into a banana republic. The insecurity has gone out of control, and they had an exchange of words there. I know you read that and you remember that story. And Buhari was not very amused. And Godfrey Okeke, you're saying, do you know that a Fulani terrorist committed, as you said, bombing yesterday in Ebonyi, Biafra land? Though he was unsuccessful, he detonated himself, but the Nigerian police came out. Okay, I missed that. It was a whole sentence, paragraph. I missed that. Okay, but thank you so much. Thank you. Elvis Selenia, you're saying they're arresting and killing innocent, harmless people going about their daily routine. So what you're saying, according to this report, what is being alleged here, that security services are conducting house-to-house searches in Ebonyi, Imo, River States, and other areas that have large population of Igbos. You're saying this is true. That is what you're confirming to me this afternoon. And do you have a first-hand experience of somebody you know that has been affected in that way? All right. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can just get a few of what some of you are saying before we call it a day. Godson, Omahi, you're saying the long-age Fulani plan had always been to exterminate all Biafrans and take over all land. Okay, Zushive, you're saying there is a conspiracy against Biafrans, but the AU and the allies are all over the world. That's why they're keeping quiet over the genocide going on. Anointed, and you're saying Nigeria is the most corrupt country in the world. That will be Somalia, but that is a story for another day. Ofadile. Yes, that will be Somalia, followed by South Sudan, in that order. And then, but those are failed states. So, well, Nigeria also, not too far from that. It's the most populous country in Africa, and it's rich in natural resources. But also, what baffles me is also that Nigeria has the highest number of poverty rates in the world, right? The disparity is just very loud there. I don't understand why. Elvis Elianya, you're saying they're arresting and killing innocent, harmless people. Okay, very well. All right, it's so many of your comments that I'm not able to read through. Stanley Pablo, thank you. Nodik Elijah, Nazi Chuma Ichenu, Anayo Emma. Okay. All right, I'm trying, but it appears the comments are just coming in way. Desmond Abaworo, thank you so much for watching. I don't know where you're watching us this afternoon. And Saint Moneke, you're saying, Ikedi, you're saying it's a scam. All right, Chooks Dominic, you're saying if Nigeria remains one piece, will never reign. It's better to divide Nigeria now to save lives. And you know how President Buhari is responding to that. He's saying, you know what? He's coming after IPOB. All right. His acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has said, we are coming, and we'll be knocking on the doors of the indigenous people of Biafra, and is saying, don't mind the media shouting, do the job I command you to do. And, you know, if they come to complain, all these human rights, all these human rights institutions and whatever, they'll still come to complain on my table. Those reports will end up on my table, and you know what I will do. So maybe he'll just discard, the reports there. I think that is what he was implying. You know, there are things, even if you're thinking them, depending on the office you're holding, you're not even supposed to come out outright and just speak like that. I think it's just out of order. But hey, this Operation Restore Peace has declared war against the people of the indigenous people of Biafra, and yes, and its security wing, the Eastern Security Network, and they're saying that Mr. President Buhari had ordered that you shoot anybody carrying AK-47 rifle. And if you kill people or you maim people or you harass people and anybody asks you, you tell them, I sent you. I told you to do that. So don't sit and wait for them to come. Take attack to them and don't lose your arms to criminals. So that is what the acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, said in regards to the indigenous people of Biafra. And I can see a lot of you here are not very happy with those sentiments. So that is that. Okay, so Ugandan military court has decided to release detainees, supporters of the opposition leader there, Bobby Wine, after 5 months of detention. All right, that is another country that requires a lot of our prayers, but we'll just leave that there for today. And of course, South Africa, former President Jacob Zuma has pleaded not guilty. Finally, he showed up to court after so many months of trying not to go and answer to these charges. He showed up in court today and he pleaded not guilty to corruption charges at the start of his trial at a court there in South Africa. He was looking quite frail, and he's 79 years old, and he's pleaded not guilty to all 18 counts of racketeering, corruption, fraud, tax evasion, and money laundering. All right, so Zuma is in trouble, and that is that. So we shall be following that story too, and I will be bringing you the latest. So that story in Mali, France now is warning that it will lead a charge to impose sanctions against the regime in what they're calling a coup against, the transitional president and government there. Bando, I don't know if they've released him. I think not yet. And so that is also a problem. But ECOWAS have sent a former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, to Bamako as it scrambles to respond to the latest crisis in this Sahel country. ECOWAS, West African State, Sahel region. I mean, I think something is just not right. There's some leadership in that part of Africa, and it's worrying, the trend that we've been seeing. It's very restive, it's very restive as it is right now. So maybe Goodluck Jonathan will be able to speak some sense to the army junta, Colonel Assimi Goita, who has now taken over. He fired how do you fire a president? He fired the head of state and his prime minister, and because the head of state, what happened is he restructured his cabinet and he left out 2 army officials that were part of that cabinet, but he did not care to consult with the military junta. It is a transitional government, and they promised that they will facilitate an election in 18 months because apparently Mali requires a restructuring. All right, so That is what is happening there. And something else is happening in Sudan. But this is not a conversation I will have right now. I probably have it. People are resigning, especially from the civilian side of the Sudan's ruling Sovereign Council. Another key member has resigned. We've seen the Chief Justice resign. We're seeing people resigning, and they're saying the army is becoming very strong-handed there, and it's not listening and it's not cooperating. And I think, are we likely to see another coup or another disaster is waiting in this part of Africa? I'm not sure. But these are things that African Union should be looking into before another disaster happens and things get out of hand. They should already be sending somebody there to try to check out what is happening. But as usual, African Union, I usually call it Miss Jane come lately. They come when the mess has already happened. They are not very proactive, as you already know. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Arafat Sajay. You're saying AU has failed. Who is this other person? Igbo, you're saying, please, Africa country, let's come together and face reality, because a lot of things is happening in Nigeria. Every blessed day, another 10 people will die, even more than 10 people will die in Nigeria, because I read those reports here every day. Leonard Ajulumuo, you're saying IPOB is the highest mass movement in the world. Okay. Esther Tadima, you're saying Nigerian government partners with ISIS to fight Boko Haram. Oh, they do that. So the IS that is said to have arrested the leader of Boko Haram. By the way, could you confirm to me if it's true he was murdered? Shekau, is he still alive? Because the government of Nigeria was not very sure if he was killed, and some reports indicated from the government that there's a possibility he was killed by the Islamic State. Is it true? Has anybody confirmed the death of the leader of Boko Haram? No? Okay. All right. So, all right. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for your time. I have to go now. I will see you here tomorrow, God willing. Keep safe, wear your mask, sanitize, wash your hands. We still have COVID with us, okay? Even when we are looking at other issues, the pandemic is still a very serious issue that the world is grappling with. This has been Diaspora Dispatches. Thank you so much for your patronage. My name is Miriam Ogoto. It has been a pleasure. Bye-bye for now.
Fellow Africans, since 1957, when Ghana gained independence, there has been quite a lot of political, social, economic indicators on the African continent that show that Africa has progressed from pre-independence Africa to post-independence Africa.
Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever. From now on, there is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that, after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs.
66 years down the road, Africa finds itself with the first country, Ghana, having gained independence. We find ourselves still locked up, controlled, manipulated, instructed, logistically supplied, equipped by foreign powers that dictate our agenda. Africa is endowed with plenty of minerals, resources, good weather. The climate is so favorable for the growth of food enough to sustain us. But we find ourselves in countries where hunger is killing people. Hunger is killing people because most of the people have taken to arms to fight wars, conflicts. Starvation has taken the place of development. In most African countries like Sudan, South Sudan, Central African Republic, Cameroon, Nigeria, in Biafra, and north of Nigeria there is Boko Haram, Somalia in the Horn of East Africa. We have taken to conflict instead of development. Development was the key indicator. When Kwame Nkrumah made the first speech that seek ye African political unity, economic development will come automatically, he was right. The events happening in Libya today vindicates Nkrumah, vindicates Nyerere, Sekou Toure, and Nasser, the founding fathers of our Pan-Africanism. The events happening in Central African Republic, in Congo today, as the war of rebels ranges on between the rebel and the rebels and the government and the rebels, vindicates the founding fathers of this revolution. Our independence, therefore, was only on paper. Our independence, therefore, was only in symbols. Our independence also was in signs. Our independence also was in boundaries. That we received our flags, but we never received full independence as by the word independence. Most of the 3/4 of African countries, French-speaking countries, have their budgets being done in Paris. Is that independence? The Paris government or the French government does its budgets based on how much they will get from African countries. Is that independence? Is this the Africa that you want? Is it the Africa that we must look at? Is it the Africa that we shall leave for the future generation? If the answer to you is yes, then so be it. But if the answer is no, you agree with me that this is not the Africa we want to live for the future generation. Our generations and the future generation need to find a legacy. What is the legacy that Africa and African Union will leave for the future generation? The wars ranging in Libya, in South Sudan, in Khartoum, in Mogadishu, in DRC Congo, in Amazonia, in Cameroon, Boko Haram, Mali, in Mauritania, the uprisings in Algeria, all point to one thing, that yes, we are not yet independent. We are still controlled by external forces. Thank you.
Towards realization of the grand vision of better infrastructure, the government recently commissioned operations of the Port of Lamu, where 3 of the 32 berths of the port have been completed. It is expected that Lamu Port alone will handle up to 24 million tons of cargo annually when fully completed. Lamu Port construction is part of the $25 billion Lamu Port, South Sudan and Ethiopia Transport, also known as the Lapset Corridor Project. The transformative Lamu Port project was officially launched by the Government of Kenya in March 2012, and its construction continues in earnest. The operationalized port will contribute to modernization of Kenya's infrastructure and boost communication and transportation, which are some of the key pillars of Kenya's dominant position in Eastern Africa. The Government of Kenya has committed to expanding Kenyan road and rail network to better open the country for trade and also to cement Kenya's position as a regional transportation and communication hub. As the government of Kenya strive to bring the country into a new realm of increased economic growth and raise the living standards for the population, many infrastructural projects have been commissioned. President Uhuru Kenyatta has remained instrumental in championing for a new chapter of Kenya's infrastructural development, and that is why the mega LAPSSET project is gradually becoming a reality despite the challenges the project has faced. LAPSSET is one of Kenya's flagship long-term infrastructural development programs under the country's Vision 2030 and the infrastructural development pillar under the Big Four agenda. Through its multiple infrastructural components, including the 32-path Lamu Port, regional highways, rails, oils, pipelines, refineries, as well as resort cities along the corridor, the mega project is projected to become a major contributor that will take Kenya's annual gross domestic product GDP growth to more than 10%. The LAPSSET project will not only become one of Kenya's revolutionary infrastructure development projects in the country's recent history, but also contribute to realization of African Union's vision of integrating the continent for regional trading by 2063. The government of President Uhuru Kenyatta has remained committed into bringing the LAPSSET grand vision into a reality. The project bears heavily on the president's ambition to modernize Kenya's infrastructure and to cement Kenya's position as transport and logistics hub in the East Africa and the Horn of Africa regions. To hasten the realization of the benefits of the Lamu Port operationalization, the government has been upgrading and constructing roads that connects the port to the regional hinterland encompassing Ethiopia, South Sudan and Uganda. The port will also connect Kenya and the regional hinterland to some other 300 ports globally. Operationalization of the port of Lamu is also expected to create many jobs domestically, including jobs in fishery, manufacturing, logistics, trade, agriculture and commerce.